Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. The news is all over the place. You've no doubt seen it many times over by now. The aliens have finally arrived. We don't yet know what race these are. They may well be the Thargoids, and indeed suspicions are very high that it is indeed that race. But it could be any other race. There could be any number of other aliens out there. As yet, we still don't know. We'll get into some information a bit more in a minute as to why it could be the Thargoids, or as to why it may be someone else. So this all come about last night. The first encounter was on the Xbox One version of the game. This came in the form of a number of video clips from DP Sayer. I apologise if I pronounced your name wrong there. And these clips were then shared on the Xbox Live platform, and from there they were shared right across the internet, far and wide. And of course it's for that reason that unless you're saving off for the experience for yourself, you will most likely have seen the encounter. After having been pulled out of hyperspace, getting interdicted within hyperspace of course is something new. You find yourself falling back to deep space, only to find a ship overshadowing you and eventually doing some type of scan on you. Now this ship is no doubt the same as the one that's been crashed on a number of planets. There's been a few wrecks found of this. The ones on the planetary surface of course are not in particularly good shape, but this one is very different and it looks very luminescent and pretty powerful to say the least. It knocks your ship systems completely out and you're stuck there unable to do anything, and we'll get more into that as we show the clip later on into the video. So as with more or less all the other alien encounters, this has gone down within the Pleiades region of space. So far all encounters that I have seen have been within a 250 light-year range of the Maya system. That's between the Maya system and inhabited space. I'm not sure yet if the encounters are happening on the other side of the Pleiades, but I would suspect that the chances are pretty high that they are. Now, you don't need to have an unknown artifact on board your ship to get interdicted. Other people have been interdicted without that. But I was out here with Dr. Kai. We spent half an hour looking and didn't get an alien encounter. So Dr. Kai encouraged me to go and collect a UA. And so we went to one of the alien crash sites and picked one up. Now, the UAs are actually an interesting point here. The unknown artifacts were the first alien artifact or the first alien object to be encountered in the game. That was a year ago, or practically well over a year ago at this point. And, well, I don't think we ever really know what they're entirely about. But what we do know is that they are harmful to human technology. When you take them aboard your ship, they cause damage, they corrode the cargo hatch and all the other modules. And when they're sold to stations, these stations then can become UA bombed and they will malfunction eventually. And then the second encounter, the second alien encounter we had, was with the barnacles. Now, when you shoot the barnacles, you get meta-alloys, and the meta-alloys can be used to heal the damage caused by UAs or unknown artifacts. And it's for this reason that I and many others suspect that the UAs and the barnacles are from two different alien species. One harms human technology, that's the unknown artifacts, and the other seems to be able to repair and heal human technology. That's meta-alloys from the barnacles. So as soon as I had the UA on board, it was time to head off in search of aliens. Check the time there, it's 1:20. And I then had to fly for another half hour, plenty of jumps before I finally got interdicted. And you'll see it on this jump. I'll do a nice little edit here and I will then go straight into the interdiction phase and you'll see me getting pulled out of hyperspace. Now, getting pulled out of hyperspace is something that happened within the original 1984 version of Elite Dangerous. At that point, you'd get pulled into witch space itself, something that doesn't actually happen here. But that, of course, was a time when humanity was at war with the Thargoids, and currently that isn't the case. There's been a long period of peace with those aliens. In fact, they haven't been seen nor heard from in many decades. Now, if you haven't experienced this for yourself, this is an entirely scripted process. Your ship loses power here, you have absolutely no control over it. The only function you do have is for a headlock if you've got that enabled. You can't even use the external camera here, so there's no way of capturing footage outside of your ship. Now, if you want a clean copy of this encounter without the narration and without the music, there are dozens of them available on YouTube right now, so I'll link to a few of those in the video description to help you find those. Now, this encounter is extremely atmospheric, very, very awesome, and it's probably one of the best things within Elite Dangerous in terms of atmosphere. I understand that this particular encounter comes with its own piece of music inside the game. Unfortunately, I've got music disabled for the game, so you'd have to make do with the own track that I've put on here. But like I say, if you want to see the full thing, do check out one of the links in the video description. So a very, very alien looking ship here, and a very alien sounding ship. Frontier have stepped extremely away from anthropomorphism with this design. There's nothing human orientated about it whatsoever. What it's doing here, there's no way of telling, but it seemed to be some type of scan, although it seemed to be sucking some type of material into it at the same time. Could it be searching for something within our cargo? At the moment I'm carrying a UA, but other people have been carrying nothing. Other people have been carrying other types of cargo, and they all get the same outcome. The ship passes off, and it seems to knock you slightly off course here, and then everything comes back on. When the power did finally switch on, I boosted straight after the alien ship here. I had no intention of shooting at it, that's the last thing I want to do, but I did want to scan it. And we then get the unknown ship data here. Now this of course may be something that engineers will be able to use at a later date to harden our ships and modules against these aliens. And there it disappears into its own form of hyperspace. Now of course this experience, this encounter, has sent the conspiracies and the conjecture into frenzy on the internet. There's all sorts of theories out there, all sorts of ideas. Many people suggesting of course that these are indeed the Thargoids, and it would seem that way based on their similarities to these ships and the ones from the previous games. And as you can see, they have 8 spires on there, which favours the octagonal design of Thargoid ships, and of course they are also organic. But we've got to remember that this isn't, at least at the moment, a hostile act. Although interdiction from human to human is considered a hostile act, aliens may not consider it so, and from what we can tell at least, they didn't do anything that harmed our ships. There's also another theory that these alien ships are acting as a protector of sorts, that whilst in hyperspace we're getting interdicted by an unknown entity, and these ships are the ones coming to the rescue. It's a wild theory, but at this point it's as good as any other. Another thing we need to keep in mind is that Frontier seem very keen on keeping aliens alien. That means we shouldn't attribute any human motivations or human emotions to these things. For example, the fact that humanity was once at war with the Thargoids, it doesn't necessarily follow that the Thargoids will then turn up at some point in the future with the motivation for revenge. They might not have that, they might not feel that way, they may not see the world or galaxy in that way. It's also going to be interesting to see how many alien races ultimately turn up in the game. We do know that there's going to be more than one. Frontier have confirmed that. And like I say, the idea that the UA and the matter alloys seem to have different effects on human technology would indicate that those 2 pieces of technology, or those 2 pieces of alien artifacts, could well be from different races. And the alien ruins we found seem to be a different set still. They seem to be very different to everything else we've seen so far. But we mustn't forget what happened here at this crash site. It seemed to be a very serious event. It seems to obviously have involved conflict of some type. So this is all clearly a part of these stories that are unfolding within the Elite Galaxy over the past few years, and there are also another few threads of storylines that could well be connected at some way. Don't forget that the Emperor was recently assassinated, Emperor Duval, and the Federation has also had its fair share of leadership troubles, with the previous president having disappeared. Although she did eventually turn up again, it was never really entirely clear what went down there. In fact, there's been a number of events that seem to be pushing both the Empire and the Federation towards war, and this seemed to be orchestrated at shadowy hands as yet unseen. An alien faction perhaps, or a human faction, we don't know. A post though from Commander Boba Fett on Reddit would seem to imply that not everything in the galaxy is as we may expect. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.